Started, by the way.
Could I be? Homies looking so cool, I'm cool T. Tuxedos made of snow. Is there something I should know? Mama, pop, and little bro, dead and gone so long ago. Could this be paradise at last? The first test I've ever passed. Music's the odyssey. Yeah. It's here for you, for me. Just listen for the magic key. Listen up. Music's the odyssey. Yeah. Do till I miss my OT crew. Can't have to live without them. I just wish they only knew. May they have lived without a home, but my homies love me, kept me warm, taught me to forget about the game. Money, hatred, hunger, pain. This sudden end to my days makes me wish I had changed my ways. Spent more time with the posse. 1T, 90, booty me. Music's the odyssey. Yeah.
Thanks is fashionably late. Right on time.
Hey. Hello?
All right, hello,
Hey.
welcome. Oh,
Hey.
thanks is here. Never mind, I have to make a new screen region.
There's 4 ads already.
I can hear you by the way now. I'm starting already, but
Yeah.
all right. Hello and welcome to the podcast, PvM podcast number 2 on OSRS. I welcome you with my guests here, Hom3r, Jumanji, Mandred, Turnii, and Zulu. Thank you for joining and discussing with me here. I'm going to host it, and we're going to start with the introductions here.
Yeah. I'm Hom, member of Oblivion and Total.
Done? Okay. I'm Jack, Jumanji, leader of Oblivion. Yeah.
My name is Mandred. I'm PvM Pet Hunter. Pretty unknown.
Hi, I'm Thanks, co-leader of Oblivion. Just PVMing and yeah, excited.
I'm Turnii, Pet Hunter. I like PvM. That's about it.
Zulu, also Pet Hunter, and XP, and yeah, excited as well.
Alright, I'm Aleks, in Oblivion as well, PvM Cup winner 2015-16. Sorry for the little pun, never mind.
Wow.
So let's start. Alright, today we have a lot of topics. Topics will be Theater of Blood, short TOB. It's going to be meta questions and about ulting as well. We have some death mechanic questions, we have clan PvM Cup questions, bonus questions, and of course the community questions, which we have a sheet of. And thank you for all the questions you've submitted. So we're going to start with the first question. It's going to be, what are your thoughts about the pull resource for the new items about TOB? Anyone free to start?
Yeah, I'll start, I guess, because no one else is. I like that most of the staff passed, except for the potions, which is good, and the VAMs, they need to be scrapped. They just stop pulling them. Just stop it.
I'm really glad the prayer didn't pass. I think the prayer is a terrible idea. And the
I'm just agreeing with Thanks, really. I hated the VAMs. And some of the potions are all OP as well, like the prayer potions. Didn't like them.
Yeah, I don't think we need those right now.
Yeah, prayer was
Overall-
probably the most useless of the rewards.
I
really
was
like
happy
the,
with them. Just didn't think. I didn't like the vamps. I don't really like the staff that much. I think they missed a trick there. They could have had a better item instead of a gimmicky heal staff. I don't know. I kind of wanted a decent spec weapon, magic spec weapon, but that's just me.
I don't even know where the thing is going to be used at, honestly. Over like Trident.
Yeah, isn't there a use maybe for solar raids? Someone mentioned on Twitter, I think. I'm not entirely sure about that one though.
Maybe scamming in the duel arena.
Maybe.
I don't know, people are already perfectly selling raids without it, so I'm not sure why they would bring it and like
just makes
bring a
things
stat at small cost.
easier. I don't know. It's not...
It would have been really nice to have a magic staff with a special attack.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, is there... I think there's not any magic weapon with a special tag, right?
No.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we don't
Well,
have one.
Staff of the Dead, but it's not
Yeah, it's not
It's
really
not
a
a magic
magical
yeah.
at all anywhere. So
Yeah.
I think most people wanted a staff, a magic weapon with a decent special, but
Yeah, but what could they even do with that one? Like a special attack with magic?
I'm not sure. But
It's not really spec
I
related.
mean, there's a lot of
but
different things you could do. You could do something similar to like Flames of Zami or Circle, where it lowers their magic level. You could do something where it hits higher, more accurately. Lots of different
Like
things you could do with it.
3 fast attacks instead of
double
one
attack or something. Yeah, exactly. Double.
There's a lot of things they could have done, but
Yeah.
anyways.
Let's hope they take some community feedback and maybe pull some new stuff. Or would you want to have new items, or are you fine if the items that were pulled and passed already, or would you want like more items or more useful items getting into the game or through Theater of Blood?
I would like that we got like new melee armor. That's better than Banders, and new range armor that's better than armor, because I don't think they should be best in slot.
Anything that doesn't give range strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with the ones we have. There's some really strong items, but I think it's lackluster compared to Raids 1 in terms of item and choice and variety, I guess. But
I think that's
we don't
Raids
have
1's
like
problem though. I think the
useless
fact they
crap.
added like 15 things from Raids 1 is like
Yeah,
because
we have
of
a lot
that,
of
does
useless
every
stuff
new
in
raid
Raids
have
1
to have
too.
15 items, or is it just like, are we okay with only having like 6 or 7 from this?
Yeah, I'm fine with it as long as it's fun content. Like, some stuff is really powerful, so I mean, it will be valuable to do as long as it's fun content. It will be done, and yeah.
If it has a pet, it's not dead content, basically.
It won't be dead content if there's a pet.
It won't be carried by the pet. It'll be carried by the defender, the rapier.
Yep.
Yeah.
The rapier isn't enough for people to go. Like that's going to be like probably the most expensive item. So can see it
I
being
see
around
the
700
the
mil.
new armor getting really expensive, to be honest, at the start at least. It's gonna be so good for so many.
70 or 75 for the defense.
I thought it's 75. I'm checking.
By the way, yeah, I think those two, the rapier and the defender, will be super important for people. Scythe will be niche, but expensive as well.
No, it's 70 attack and 70 defense.
Okay.
The Avernic Hilt, right? It's called, yeah.
As long as the items are useful compared to like Raids 1, where Dragon Sword and those kind of items are released.
Oh yeah,
think
that's
people
I
will
don't know
keep
if
doing it.
I don't know if we already have that as a question for later, but people ask me all the time, like, am I gonna buy this stuff on release? I think I'm only gonna do it because I'm gonna be doing a lot of raids. Are you guys gonna buy the stuff on release? I'm only gonna buy it if it's like useful for the raid.
I bought some stuff release with Raids 1, and yeah, we know how that ended.
Well,
it depends when you bought it, to be honest.
I bought a bow 3 days into raids, and I was like one of the only people with the bow, and I didn't regret it at all. So if it's good for raid 2,
Same
then
for
I
Rigger.
don't see any reason why I wouldn't buy it. If tank armor is actually useful in raids 2, I can see myself buying that fairly early on, but
yeah,
it depends really, because people always figure out it's always DPS over tanking, so they need to kind of keep it as they wanted it and have a tank meta. But
yeah, I guess so.
I might buy the Scythe early on, if it is useful for the Raids 2 bosses.
Yeah, I think
probably will be.
In its current state, it's still very powerful. Not sure if it's going to be nerfed or not. We'll see.
It is really powerful, but it's very niche. Like, it's only like a few places it's good for.
All right, next question.
One of the reasons.
No, go on.
One of the reasons I might be scared of buying items on release is because we had the entire prayer scroll thing where you buy them, then they nerf it into the ground.
Oh yeah, they made it more common, and then they like doubled.
Yeah, exactly. I bought both prayers on like third day, and then
I don't regret it. I paid like 364. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't regret it. I just don't like how they changed it after people have bought it.
Yeah, that
exactly.
should definitely change. That's not allowed, or shouldn't be allowed, to be honest. It ruins just so much. I don't know. You buy something.
I think they should keep everything.
But Rigger was
rare.
600 mil at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, for the first few days, it was 250 mil. I thought I was going to lose a lot of money on it.
Me too.
And
I
it shot
bought it
up
there.
to 6 mil. And I was super happy, and then nerfed it, and yeah. But any PvE shouldn't be annoyed with how, like, when they nerf things. It's just, I don't like the fact that how they nerf things. Like, they just take community complaints and kind of don't consider, I don't know, proper PvMers and stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, I didn't like that they doubled the drop rate twice, but Rigger being 600 mil was too much. You can't ask the normal player to pay that much for prayer.
It would have just something more rare. If you had Rigger, you were actually ahead of other people, and not everyone would have had it by now, which is fine, I think. Not everyone should have all items.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to the next question. It's gonna be, what are your expectations from TUB in general? Like, not item-wise, like what do you expect, how the bosses will be, like roles or whatever? Just what are your expectations?
And I hope they keep it as roles and team play rather than individual kind of out DPSing the other person. I actually don't know what the point system at all is going to be and how they're going to distribute the loot. So it really depends what they're going to do for that. Because if it's highest DPS gets loot, or if it's highest point, so there's no point system, right? So
No,
I don't really know
I
how they're
don't
doing
think
it.
so.
there won't be point system.
If
now.
there's a chest at the end and everyone has an equal chance, then there'll be more of a team play meta. But
The thing that I really want is that you can't solo it. I really hope you have to have at least 3 people, or you can't do it.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I hope it's
Yeah.
extremely top level hard. Like you need 2 Wookses to do it. You know, I hope it's like that.
I think if I could quote Archie, he said they're trying to do it impossible solo, I think. Even though, yeah, probably someone gonna figure out a method, but it's pretty hard. But I think, if I can quote him, he said that they're trying to make it impossible to make it soloable. So it's really a group thing.
I just don't
Mess
want
up
people to use ults, because I really hate ults.
Yeah, that's a topic for next, a bit later, I guess, yeah.
you know, if there's no point system, then ults shouldn't be used. Like it. That's just that's just the flaw with Raids 1. The point system is there, so it's like being abused to scale up. So
Yeah, I hope there's not a point system, and it's more just like who can do the most runs per hour.
That'd be really nice.
Because like if look at every other boss except for raids, it's like if you can kill like 20, 25 Arma an hour, you're doing better than somebody who's killing like 10. And that's just because you're better at killing it.
You also
KC
won't
actually
get those.
means something in other bosses. In Raids 1, KC doesn't really mean that much. It's the points. If you do once solo, you have 1 KC, but if you do one solo double scaled, you have the same KC as the other one, but you have much more chance. So it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
I think they said they're also not scaling it, right? So like a duo will be just as difficult as a 5-man in terms of like the levels of the bosses.
Oh, nice.
That's so, like if you're like a 60 combat, it's the same as if you're a 126 combat. I don't think they're scaling it at all.
I guess it's just about which team size is faster than the other one.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
duo is faster than 5-man.
I'm
or
expecting
trio.
4+1 meta with like the +1 carrying like brews and stuff on it.
Yeah, it could be a thing.
Probably.
It's probably gonna end up like an ult, where it's most efficient to have an ult running after you.
Well, seeing as you have to use your own supplies and you can't make supplies in the actual raid, right? So I think there'll definitely be an ult to carry supplies on, which is kind of where the ult thing comes into a problem, but whatever.
I hope that won't be necessary later on.
Oh yeah,
If
but
we- if
remember
we
what
figure-
Raids 1 was like? Like we cooked like 300 fish and put it outside the door, like stuff like that.
That was fun.
Last week.
Anyone light a fire?
Oh my god, it was messy,
But if we
fun.
don't get a benefit from bringing an ult, it would encourage us to do the raids without an ult. If we got it down a bit.
I think it'd be cool if there was some kind of AFK mechanic in there, because like with an ult you AFK it, right? So if your account stays still in one room too long, you start taking like damage or something like that.
Isn't it? Didn't they say all the rooms gonna be combat based? No skilling at all? If I remember
Yeah,
correctly?
it's-
Skilling, but the thing
There's
is,
no
if you have an
skilling.
ult in there carrying around like supplies, like brews,
Yeah.
then you might want to use that.
Yeah, I think we could take questions from the community that has been asked. Like, it's about how have any of you rated in VOV or MMO that require tank, healing, and TPS roles, just multiple roles? And do you think that should be implemented into TOB? Like, but strict roles, like you get someone has to tank, like it's a, or maybe you switch it up and stuff. Like, what are your ideas about
Well,
that?
I played WoW for like 6 years and raided in WoW for 6 years, and definitely I like that mechanic. So there'll be healer classes and support classes, but the loot distribution in that game was a lot more different to how it is in this game. It depends if they distribute it as everyone has an equal chance, even if you don't do any damage to the boss at all. And I hope they do, because that way there's more team play. But in terms of like support, I'm not really sure what you could do other than beyond Lunas and heal other and stuff like that, which also hinders your own HP. So in terms of support, I think it would be kind of hard to do without some sort of
I mean,
different
you
mechanic.
could just have a pool to like in the boss that heals you, but if you're attacking the boss, if the boss is tanking you, you can't use
Yeah,
it.
that's a good idea.
Like they have the stuff in game to make a system like that work. Like of the bulwark, you'll have the tank gear.
Yeah.
You can make it, but they just need to have like a boss that works with it.
Did
Yeah,
any of you play or killed Virago back on RS3? Like, they know how the roles were there? I can just really explain. Like, there was the boss, and the guy furthest away took, like, Virago always sent some bombs to him, so he called him the bomb tanker, because he took a lot of damage. And, like, I really would like to have a role like that, and yeah, it was a bit unfair sometimes because of the share, because you did less DPS and stuff, so less points or whatever it's gonna be. But I really liked that we had like DPS roles, tank roles, and whatever. It's really nice, and switched it up to make it efficiently.
Kieran did play Virago as well, didn't he?
I think so, but I'm not entirely sure. I did it with others.
I think he quit for Minecraft at the time.
Yeah,
Did anyone here ever play Death Run? Like Gmod, Death Run?
Yeah, I did.
I'm thinking about like how that could go into this mechanic where like you have to choose to be the support role, and it puts you into a different room. So like you're not able to get in the same room as the people that are actually fighting it, and you have to do things in that room to support your team. So like maybe you have to step on a pad or pull a lever or do something like that at a certain time to like release something, or I don't know. They could definitely do support roles if they wanted to.
Yeah, I would love that.
I like Norway just said, they do want to make it a tank role, like with the key thing they said at RuneFest. So I hope they actually stick with that and design it around that. So that way there is actually roles.
The idea where like you have to have one person carrying like a two-handed key to get through the room, and you have to protect them.
Yeah. And Archie was saying people would chin their NPCs and stuff.
I like the idea of specific roles for a PvM boss, but I also think it's quite hard to implement in RuneScape because range is so overpowered right now.
Well, I think about BA. Like if you choose that support role, you're forced to do it a certain way. You can't.
Yeah.
Like if you choose the attack role, you can't start using food on a healer. They could easily do that in raids too, where like if you choose a certain role, if they have roles implemented, you can't do certain things.
I hope they do what Tony said, where they add something to the boss that allows you to use stuff like Lunas with like heal other and kill poison and avenge, and I don't know, just all that sort of stuff would be really cool.
Yeah, it's cool they're adding like different things for spells. Like Vorkath, you have to use Crumble Undead. I like that they're adding that kind of stuff in.
I have high expectations for it, but yeah.
I guess we all do, right? All right.
I think the game needs something like that, a lot more team focused.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting more and more a solo game, and I don't like it, especially if the ult metas.
I think death mechanics are to blame for that.
Yeah, that's definitely a part. Yeah.
And ults and
you don't like need a team there to pick up your stuff when you die.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next question. What do you think of the static rotation TOB will bring?
Well, so like there's no randomization.
Yeah.
Yes, every raid is gonna be the same layout.
If
I
they
like
do
that.
I hope
They
the
confirmed
bosses.
it.
Oh, okay. If they do that, I hope the bosses has like random spells they can do.
I mean, I don't think anyone would actually mind because it's basically entirely RS. Everything in RS is static except for raids 1.
That's true.
Or maybe the
I
boss
guess, like,
chooses.
Laura
Maybe
has
the
different
boss
phases.
chooses his tank at random. Like the team enters the boss room and the boss itself chooses who's gonna be the tank.
I like the static part of it. I think it'll drive the competitive aspect in terms of like records. Like for right now, like raids 1, you only go for one specific layout. It'll be like that for this, except it's always that layout.
Do you think it would get stable though over time? Like,
I mean, does any boss apart from raids get stale? There's a lot of bosses I like that are all the same
I
every
dunno.
time.
yeah, that is kind of what RuneScape is. If you're kind of not used to it, then everyone should be used to that. So I think for non-competitive, like non-record kind of runners in Raids 1, I think the randomness does appeal to some people, but I'm not too fussed about how it is. Like, they're not having randomization.
Shit,
So.
fucked up. Oop. Never mind. Keep on. Keep on.
I just like the fact if one person dies, then they stay out of that room. They're not allowed back in.
Oh yeah, I love that idea. I like that
So
concept.
yeah, so you're gonna have to kind of focus
I hope
constantly.
you get to spectate at least though, or somehow like you could see what's going on.
Yeah,
I
they
really
do
like
that.
that mechanic though. It's like a one death thing.
They do that in WoW. So like you die on a boss in WoW, then you're not allowed back into that boss until the raid wipes or they pass. But as it's only 5-man, it's probably going to be a lot more punishing if one of your teammates dies. So say there's roles for like support and tank, then if your support dies, then you're probably going to just wipe. And doesn't it reset if your entire team wipes, the entire raid wipe?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the raid fails
Yeah,
if your
so-
entire team dies.
Damn. That's gonna be
Dude,
in.
said
it's going to be
so
really...
funny, man. Like 3 of us die, it's just Wooks and one person left, and just Wooks is just carrying the other person. It's really fun to watch that. It's be hilarious.
Wooks' back is gonna hurt so much.
Oh, dude, he's gonna have to
The carry.
about that, yeah.
That's literally what it's going to be like one person carrying the rest.
How much are you guys gonna play on release?
Probably the same as Raids 1, like 16 hours per day.
16 hours and then stop for 2 years.
Like,
But no, I'll play a lot, like I did Raids 1, probably for the first week, and then depending on how fun it is, obviously.
Yeah, I guess it's really going to depend on how it is. If it's really boring, I don't think people are going to keep doing it.
If the pet is that big fat like woman at the end, then I'm just gonna camp it.
I want to be the plant woman, the Night Nader pet.
Really?
What? It's what everybody's saying, dude.
She's ugly as hell, to be honest, in my opinion.
Dude, the plant arms, this shit's so cool.
But I'm not worried about it being that content anytime soon. I'm sure the rapier will carry it.
Oh, I'm definitely.
Like even if it's boring, people are still gonna do it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like hunting for only one item sucks as well. If everything else is useless.
I think the scythe and the rapier are gonna be super expensive, so I mean yeah.
I mean, the
2
tank
items,
is going to be useful, so it won't be like 1 mil like a dragon sword.
just need to make things rare, like don't make it common, like otherwise it just won't be worth anything.
it'll be fun seeing Iron Man complain about how they don't get the drop they wanted.
It'll
Can't
be
wait.
fun seeing hardcore Iron Man die.
Yeah.
I'm curious
Oh,
to see
yeah.
how
Oh my
hard
God.
they're gonna do it. I think the only one crazy enough is Osiris.
Maybe
Yeah, I
a
think he
read.
did. He did Dragon Slayer 2 on day 2, didn't he?
They
Or was
won
it day one? Day one.
No guide. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Damn. All right, let's go to the next question. How do you like the design and theme they put on TOB, like the vampire stuff?
I like it a lot, especially the blood team. Like, it's red, dark. It just fits.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it is, where it is, the location, how they've designed it. All the bosses I've designed so far look really good. I mean, the end boss is a bit weird, but it still looks kind of interesting. So, but the whole location is ideal.
I think it's really cool they add the content to Mortania. It was really lacking. Really good reason to go there other than Barrows.
Yeah, I really like the area.
And it got an update on RS3, but what we're getting is completely different from that, and kind of like that too. You guys know the Mayor Ditch area on RS3?
Yeah,
Not really.
No,
Yeah, I know it. Back in the days, yeah. The quests were pretty cool in my opinion. When they released, it was a big new like vampire themed like city. I really hope they implement like that. It looked really cool back in the days.
I think they're designing a new area, like a town.
Yeah.
Yeah, last stream, Mod West showed us the progress he did so far in the city.
I'm happy they didn't add like a new place to the map, like Fossil Island.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to add more like places where you actually can do stuff to current.
Yeah, like Elf and Metaphos and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, let's go. Next questions. What are your thoughts about the bots they implemented? Like, do you think some are OP, some are still decent? Why did some not pass and some did pass? What are your opinions?
Well, I think all of them are OP.
OP? Like, would you really call it OP? Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think anything that saves inventory space is OP. If I can go
Yeah,
to
it
DKs
is.
with 3 of those and take more of something else, or like I don't know, let's say you go to DKs like you don't need prayer, right? But you take like 5 range and 5 super combat. Well, now you could take 10 totality if that passed. That's like pretty ridiculous to me for the same inventory.
Most PvM is already pretty simple and easy to do now, and they've just basically made it even simpler, especially stuff like Inferno, which I don't like. But it's just the prayer ones, it just makes it a lot easier. People don't really need to think about conserving prayer with that, but
Well, I think the prayer one wasn't too OP, but I'm glad it didn't pass. But it opens up the door for like future PvM, I guess. But current PvM doesn't need it.
I don't
yeah,
mind. I don't mind it too much, but I also think they're gonna cost a lot to make.
yeah, they're gonna cost a lot. Like the range and defense one is actually, I think that's okay. I just think the prayer ones aren't.
Well, the only 2 that passed are the ranging and the magic one combined with defense.
Magic
Yeah.
one's useless.
The range ones, it's not OP, but I guess it's stronger than we currently have for like Arma, Inferno, a couple other places. I think I would have preferred extremes instead of this. That might get a lot of hate, but I think that's the direction if they go for future potions.
Is
Instead
that
of just
overloads
combining
outside
all in
raids?
one
Or-
inventory.
no, it's like pretty much like the
It's like
pots you made in
120
raid.
instead of one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you make the pots before you put like together. It's just like a stronger version of the pots we have now, and then you combine them. Then it will be overload. That will be like the overload, but just a step before. All the just stronger pots, I guess. If you're ever talking about that, Zulu.
Yeah.
I don't think extremes would pass a poll yet, John.
I'm glad the totality didn't pass a poll though. I think it'd be stupid to have both totality and extremes in the future. Is what I meant. Like if
I
this
hope we never
happens,
get
we're probably never
extremes.
getting extremes. Yeah, but
Don't want to
combining
imagine
all
how
the builds
hard
sounds
bow
lazy.
hits. Like imagine 120 range with the twisted bow.
Yeah, I guess.
And blowpipe for that sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if you will use the twisted bow or maybe a vampire killing weapon instead of the bow. But I'm interested how it will be.
Bow would probably be useful considering it's
It's
based
not,
on the opponent's magic attack. So
yeah, I guess, but maybe they think like, yeah, we don't want to make bow the best weapon again at this boss. I guess it would make sense.
I'm predicting the bow is gonna be the best weapon for one, maybe two of the bosses.
Yeah, not for the whole. Yeah. Or I hope they don't make it like that.
No, they wouldn't.
Or I hope they implement the combat triangle like more and more. That would be awesome.
I think they've been working on that, like that you need all 3 styles. Prime example is Ulm. So they're doing good.
Yeah. So next question: what is your most anticipated TOB reward personally? Probably everyone can say what they think.
I think most people are mostly excited about the rapier. A lot of people have wanted a better melee one-handed weapon for a while, and that'll be the most expensive. And
I'm excited about the scythe. It's such a unique weapon.
For me, it would be rapier as well, and I'm very happy they changed it. They
I
made
can't
it a
wait
bit.
for that.
Yeah, it's the rapier for me as well. Definitely, it's just a nostalgia from back in the days. Having a rapier, fucking awesome.
I think I'm most excited for the tank armor. I'm going to use that on my ult to make everything in the game easier because it's ridiculously OP.
Yeah, because you can combine it with the bulwark, right?
No, I don't even need that. Just Ellie plus the armor, and I can poke Sarah with my ult, and then just AFK T-bow my main.
Yeah. Actually,
I wonder how good the armor will be in Inferno.
Oh
Like
yeah,
people
that's gonna
already
be
use
interesting.
Vandal's chestplate, for instance, in Inferno. I wonder what it's gonna be like after the gear is in game.
definitely.
and get the first melee cape.
Yeah, just staying in the middle of Inferno and Tanger, I think. It's gonna be fun.
All right.
That'd be
I want to see that.
ridiculous.
I want to see a 1 square Inferno. 1 tile Inferno.
One tile
Holy
Inferno.
shit! Imagine a 1 tile Inferno. That's
Holy
actually.
shit.
Is it possible because of attack ranges of things?
Choose
You
the
attack
right tile.
Mage can attack you. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably in the middle, but
Yeah, I guess you choose the right tile. That makes sense.
yeah, Books, you have a new challenge. Go for it. All right. So we already mentioned it a bit. It's about ulting. We're going to change the subject now. It's going to be, what do you think of people using ults to PvM more efficiently or faster? You think it should stay like that? And what are the pro and cons for the game over time?
Personally, I like it a lot that it's been more used by everyone, but it shouldn't be the only thing. Like people should still have like certain bosses in PvM where you can't use or don't use an ult, which is not really the case anymore. So I hope they make some content that you can't use an ult.
Yeah, I really think it's a bit too OP. Like, of course, you could say that it's a lot of, like, you have to pay more attention, you'll be, like, more active, more clicks, because you have to play in 2 accounts at the same time. It's a bit harder. You have to learn the mechanics, some kind of. I had to get used to it. But, like, just the idea, I don't like, now you just go solo with your ult, and it's, like, no group PvMing anymore. It's, like, literally died out because of that. If you want to be super efficient, I guess.
I don't like ulting, but it's staying in the game, obviously, because it's making them money. And
Yeah.
it's also more effort in most cases, so I guess it's fine for now.
I think my view on alts has always been, I wish it was never a thing, but if you don't do it, you're just falling behind. So
Yeah.
like, you basically have to these days if you want to be efficient with it. You don't need to obviously at all for like to ever do anything, but if you want to be doing it the best possible, it's like kind of required now.
I personally
like you
enjoy
said,
RS a lot more doing
I
it.
really hope it's not possible or it's not doable in raids too. Like I hope that like you need 5 people, you know.
Yeah, the current alt meta isn't gonna change with the content we have. We can just hope that alts won't be the meta for future updates like Theater of Blood.
I mean, it's getting pretty crazy though. Mr. Hom3r over there with the Quintolo bandos.
What do you mean? I don't know. I'm a fan of altscaping, but I also like the recent bosses they added, like the gargoyles and Walker, where you can't use alts.
I agree with what Gerb said. Having all pets basically encouraged also using alts, because most of the case you will have to pay your tank all the drops. With an
now you can
alt, you
alt and
just
keep
get
it all.
everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Other opinions or topics you wanna go for, mention here? Otherwise, I'm going to the next question.
Do you think restock alts are just as bad as tank alts?
No.
And then it's literally like summoning. You just could implement summoning, but yeah, I guess you have to pay membership for it more. But I don't like it as well.
Summoning's not needed because we have so many different things that were added.
I mean, restock alts are fine. You could theoretically just call your friend to bring you supplies.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I mean, same argument though. You could have your friend tank bandos for you and just not keep any loot.
Yeah.
But
then
who
you
does
don't
that?
make any money. Like,
who does that? Tank bandits don't keep loot.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but how do you think? What could be a way? Like, if they would actually say, "Yeah, altscaping is not allowed anymore." Like, is that even possible? Like, is that trackable? Everything? Like, can they even do that? I don't think so. In my opinion, I've thought about it. I haven't found like a hole in it. How we could people are smart enough to find the loopholes as well. Just holes in this.
Another view I have: if somebody cares enough about how other people altscape, they should just play Iron Man. Like, you know, you can play a solo account if you want, and you can prove that by having an Iron Man. I don't like that altscape is like the meta, but if you don't do it, like, that's your fault.
It's not gonna change.
Depends on your playstyle. If you want to play efficiently and you want to play competitively, then you're gonna need to ult. If you play just for yourself and for fun and you don't enjoy ulting, then don't. I mean, it's just personal preference. I don't see really a problem with it. I don't like it, but it's not gonna change at all. They're not gonna like ban you for multi-logging. So I mean, it's just gonna be in the game, and you just gotta deal with it really. As long as they don't kind of design everything better for ulting, and then we can kind of avoid it.
Yeah. I saw a question in the Twitch chat. I think it's like, what are we doing while we are here on the PvM podcast? Like AFKing or whatever.
Trying to get the squirrel pet and trying to get my alt 2k total.
Rune crafting.
Redwoods.
fishing swordfish and fire making.
Yeah, lobsters.
Just slaying, really.
All right. Go to the next question. How do you feel about
a lot of burnouts?
How do you feel about the combat triangle? How could it be improved? Should it stay the same?
I think range is way too far ahead of melee and mage. But I guess I don't mind really that it's far ahead of mage because you have to mage certain monsters. But like, it should at least be about the same as melee. It's not fair that melee is so far behind.
I think the first 2 years of the game was Meleescape, and then it completely changed when Blowpipe came out. Blowpipe made range like infinitely better everywhere, and I don't really know if Melee can ever be up there with it, but it definitely should be improved a little bit, and it is being improved with the raids too.
Unless they nerf blowpipe, then it won't never be anything like range.
I really like
Range will be the
Merrick's
strongest until they nerf it.
Did you hear Merrick's idea about the blowpipe?
Yeah,
was
so
like-
when they
that
add
was one of my
strength
favorite-
to
yeah.
items, they nerf blowpipe with strength
Yeah.
or something.
Because basically the blowpipe has 0 range strength if it's has nothing in it. The second you put something in it, it gets 40 range strength plus whatever range strength the darts have. So if you remove from that 40, like 2 when the range gloves get 2, then it would be 38 plus the darts, and that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's the best idea, the solution to the blowpipe problem I've seen so far.
Yeah, sounds promising, to be honest. I think about it.
I wouldn't mind blowpipe being straight up nerfed, to be honest, but you'd see people crying.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
do that, you're making a lot of things harder than they are now.
Definitely.
That's good.
Mage is a weird
It's
one
not
to
really a
change,
problem.
because you can't really change the spells. You can only change like the armor and the accuracy, I think. 'Cause some
That's
of the
why
spells-
they had potential to add a mage spec and actually bring it up there with like maybe melee, but
Yeah.
it's just too weak.
Even if mage
moment.
specs were like as good as melee specs with like claws and god swords, that'd be cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, Classics asked, I think that's a good question. Do you think bosses being moved further away from teleport should be something they need to heavily consider to try and limit the amount an alt is useful for? And I think we can talk about the teleports and how they get closer to bosses every time. Like the new poll question as well, with the fishing cape getting to the barbarian fishing. In my opinion, it's just not needed. Like, just go to the fucking barbarian assault teleport and you're fine. It's just not really far away.
Before we get to that, I think the question about the blowpipe though, the blowpipe can't get too nerfed, like Think said about he wants it straight up nerfed, because then like Inferno healers on Zuck were like designed around the blowpipe.
That's true, yeah.
make-
Redesign them, Kieran.
Yes. But yeah, the question about the moving things around, would it make it stronger even? I feel like it also be stronger at that point.
Yeah,
Because
same.
I think that only fixes the house pool meta. The house pool meta is things being closer. Also be stronger if things were further. Because you would like save all the time you have to spend banking getting back by using an alt.
It would just remove spec transfer alting, and it would just be more kind of supply alting.
I think if they fix the death mechanics and then move the bosses away, it'd be a bit better, because right now you can suicide for like 60 minutes. KBD or Cerberus.
Alting wasn't really a problem until house pool came into the fold. Ever since we've had house pool, I think alting has just gone through the roof, because people have figured out like, oh, I'll just bank on my ult and get spec and come back. Like,
Yeah.
it's just too strong. It just removes stuff away from fairy rings. And
Even though I have to say I'm surprised that before I quitted last year or took a break from RuneScape, the old method was mainly skill based, and now it's so much more PvM based. It's like crazy how much it could change in a year, like how people found out new methods. Like it's really gone through the roof. Yeah, you're right.
it's like efficiency scape. Everything needs to be like
Yeah.
to the point of being 1 kill extra an hour, and otherwise you're shit at PvM. Like, that's the problem.
And there's also a big problem. Like if you nerf big things like that, there's gonna be so many people complaining. They used it. Why am I not allowed to use it? It's gonna be so much complaint, and I think that's a big problem. Jagex also, I think that mentioned in the last Q&A, like how they approach such things. Like, can they change something just because it's been in the game for too long? For example, Nightmare Zone and stuff. It's really hard to balance it. Really, it's a bit unfair, but it's never fair for everyone, I guess.
I think it's better to change it than not change it at all. So,
Yeah, definitely.
It's always gonna spark discussion, just like the soldier nerf came in very late, but it was necessary.
Yeah. I think we already also team PvM turning more and more into solo PvM. The question I think we already answered, or some of them here. did. Like, I guess most people here are happy to or would love to have more group PvM. I don't know, maybe someone is more solo PvM fan here.
I would like obviously more group PvM, but I think a lot of people do prefer solo PvMing and not relying on anyone else.
Yeah, that's definitely
Which is
a
kind of why
point.
ulting is kind of there, but
I
think we
think
need
when you have a really good team in group PvM, it is a lot more fun than just solo PvM. Solo PvM is always the same. It's really boring, but with a group, you can have like different motivation and different attitudes and moods and stuff.
Those scaled raids are
Doing
like the funnest thing I've ever done in old school. I think I miss
It's
that.
just, yeah, it's way more fun in team if you have a good team. That is.
You can also like talk with your friends, stuff like that. It's not always too boring, I guess.
Depends on the content, I think, because like a lot of things, like there's a lot of solo bosses that exist, but like at the same time, like Team Sarah would be so boring. Sarah's already like really easy. Like I feel like Team PvM going forward needs to be made more relevant, but certain things that already exist doesn't really need to be like catered towards like Team PvM. Like who's gonna do like a 5-man mole group? You know what I mean? I don't know. It depends what you define PvM as. Do you define PvM as raids? Do you define it as KBD? Do you like
Yeah, that's definitely a point.
some things should still be solo, but I'd like more group stuff.
There's a lot of social interaction as well that you do. You learn like friends or making friends. Like, yeah, let's go bandos together. I miss that times. Like when you were not that good or not like all the metas were found. I really like to find people for a bandos trip back in the days and like your trio or whatever. It's really fun.
I think a lot of people enjoy solo PvMing because it's in general a more difficult than group PvM. So if you want to make things difficult for yourself and kind of improve as a PvMer, then soloing, a lot of people prefer to solo things like Raids 1 soloing and stuff. It's a lot harder to do, but I like solo PvM, but I also like group PvM, so I'm kind of mixed opinions, but I do prefer group PvMing and just want them to design more difficult bosses around that. They didn't design Raids 1 around solo at all. It just happened because Wooks figured it out. So, I mean, I don't know.
I think Raids 1 was like their stepping stone into Raids in general.
Yeah.
Like, they learned a lot of stuff. They also learned how people try to find things.
I think both are relevant. We need both. We can't just have like one or the other in the game, solo and team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need more team, but I like the fact that solo is already pretty big.
Anything else someone wants to add to the meta questions, ulting or stuff?
Oh, the meta, like we did, like I guess we're talking on metas and alting.
Yeah.
I think some of the metas in this game have gotten insane, not just including alting, but like it's crazy how much the game's progressed in terms of like the high end of some PvM things. Like even something as simple as KQ, right? A few years ago, you take Verax, super attack and strength, and then a couple Peapots, a rope, shanty passes,
D-Mace.
anti-poison,
Yeah.
super energy because stamina didn't exist, D-Mace, and like sharks. That's what you took, right? And house steps. And now you have like every single piece of equipment that you use for KQ didn't exist when old school came out. And now you can solo like 30 kills an hour versus soloing like 6 or 7. Pretty crazy.
About Armadillo, crossbowing 3 people in the corner of the room, getting 25 kills, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's just
OSRS.
all depending on items that come into the game, making things tons easier. But
The thing I miss the most is probably Semi, when you could stand in corner and only have melee minion on you. It was so nice.
Oh yeah, Southwall, Sarah, Zami,
Yeah.
Hom3r, all those things.
Yeah, it changed really a lot. But that
Always
was
new methods coming out, which is cool.
yeah, it's cool. Like at the same time that we are learning from the game. I really think, like, if I remember, like back to actual 2007, it was like, of course we were, or I don't know if you guys play, but we were younger. You were like not YouTube was not such kind of a big thing for guides or in meta. You just had to figure it out yourself, or you got like information from your friends and stuff. It really changed like to the more efficient way.
Figuring things out is a big part, because if you think about KQ, for example, there wasn't much else you could do than use Verax. But chinning armor was always possible, just no one knew about it. Like from the start.
I know Wooks and a couple other Swedes were doing red chins or testing red chins before black chins came out. It became more popular, I guess, as like the content creators started doing things, and like people just started leaking methods and all that.
Wix is to blame for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wooks changed the meta. That's not a question. It's definitely
Wooks is the meta.
Wooks defines it.
Wooks was already sick at 12 years old. I remember the video when he had an interview at the Corp Cave. It was so good. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Actually, I guess still talking about metas. I really like how they changed Vorkath. I hate that Slayer and PvM go together so much. Like I hate it so because I like efficient Slayer and I like PvM. I hate that I have to slay 2 PvM at some bosses. So them changing Vorkath to make it Salve and Void be best. It's like, love it.
Yeah, I'm still kind of a big fan of having a low def gear, but the highest DPS. Like in my opinion, the highest DPS gear should be the lowest def. So you'd sacrifice like def for DPS. Of course, you could say, yeah, you can pray flick everything now perfectly, but at some places it just doesn't work, and you have to figure out yourself what is better, or however. I'm a bit disappointed that Void is, like, before it took a break, was the meta at most bosses, or at raids at least, and then got, like, nerfed totally, literally. Alright, let's change the topic to def mechanics. First question, should the def mechanic be changed, and if why and how?
Yes, it should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should. I like the one they showed us on the dev blog.
What was that like?
I think it was basically the timer only counted if you were logged in. That way you can't get DDoSed for your items. And if you still didn't grab them back, people could loot it after that time. Which was like 15 or 20 minutes.
It was 20.
I really like that suggestion. The fact that like the timer doesn't go down when you're logged out.
Yeah.
Let's say you lose power for a whole night or something. You could log back in and not worry about it.
Yeah. Well, that
and then,
saves
like,
the deal.
Would it have a timer on it, like a 1-day timer or 2-day timer? Like if you don't log in for the 2 days, then well, that's your fault.
I think it would reset with system updates anyways. So,
okay,
because that's how it usually is.
That's a really good idea, but how possible is it with the engine?
I mean, they're making it work, so they just took feedback.
Do you guys think that it should be a GP sync or an item sync?
GP.
GP.
Take a value of your items you die with and take a percentage out of it. So
there was some is the OSRS mechanic where like you can buy back your stuff and if you don't buy it then it disappears or something like that. I don't really know how the RS3 mechanics are, but people always tell me about them.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I think on RS3 there's some mechanic where you can buy back your items for a obviously like you get a small amount, and if you don't, then it gets like it disappears.
I think it's even based on the wealth or how much the gear you died with is worth. But that
Oh yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you think it should be based on what you lose or just a flat
I
fee?
like it. It
Actually,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, it's riskier to PvM with more valued gear.
I
I don't know,
actually
'cause
want
the thing about it is, do you remember when God Wars was getting DDoSed and people were like 3-iteming God Wars because of that?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like people would
But-
start doing that with this, and at minimal loss, like they wouldn't take tacits, so +2 strength, whatever. They wouldn't take like prims, +1 strength, a little bit of accuracy, whatever. They would, like, if they have to pay a few 100K less when they die. Is that their problem, or is that something that, because that is that going to make, it's not about the payment they have to do when they're losing DPS, it's about the value of that item. Will tacits go down because of that? Will prims go down because of that?
will
And then
T-Bow
will
go
Cerberus
down
be
because
worth
of that?
less? Will Bandos be worth less because of that? Well, I think you would keep T-Bow. That wouldn't be lost. So that wouldn't matter. That wouldn't count towards what you pay back. But like, would tacits go down? Would prims go down? Would all these items that people don't need but just like having make the bosses of those things that drop them less valuable? Would Bandos now be like 500K an hour less because tacits are like 10 mil cheaper?
I think
gotta
it
think
would
about
be
that.
because people just wouldn't use it. Like there would be no use. Why would anyone buy them?
Yeah.
Well, they would use it for Slayers though.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
usually
Slayer.
don't die at Slayer.
I think Slayer is a big factor. If the item is useful for Slayer, it's just gonna be high price anyway because it's the favorite skill in old school.
Of course, but it will drop when you can't use it for bossing anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
just
Like
a bit of a risk.
Cerberus right now is a couple mil an hour. If prims are half the price, now it's 1 mil an hour.
Yeah.
People doing Cerberus anymore? Now you just killed a boss by changing death mechanics. You made people not want to kill that boss anymore for money. So now, like I don't know. I don't know if I want it to be based on the value you die for.
Yeah, it has negative and
Maybe up
positive
to a certain
things.
amount, right? So like the max you have to pay back is 1 mil.
Yeah,
if
that
you're
could
risking
be.
10 mil plus or something. That way you can take whatever you want past that 10 mil mark if you don't mind paying that. Or that, or whatever.
Dude, imagine 10 mil, 1 mil, that's 10%, dude.
Whatever it is.
I know.
Like,
I
know.
I know it's a was example, just like 10%
I think that's probably
would be
the best
crazy.
thing they could do is put a cap on how much you have to pay back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think they should make it too punishing, otherwise people wouldn't bring gear anywhere.
Yeah, but just imagine the amount of GPs that goes down just with like 100K to retrieve all the items, dude. It's same as Warcraft everywhere, dude. It's gonna be a huge GP.
Well, how much money
Crazy.
is that? Like Torfin, like something like 140 bill or something.
Yeah.
How much do you guys die PvMing?
Oh, boy.
Depends how active I am.
Apart from solo PvM where you reclaim. Because like I
Like
maybe died in
Warcraft.
Arma like maybe 4 times in the past like 5,000 kills.
Not a
I would have
lot.
had to pay
Like
a few mil, but like that's a minor inconvenience, but I don't die that often anyways.
Yeah, I guess sometimes just like semi AFKing Cerberus, and I'm not watching if when he spawns the ghosts, and then I just get comboed. But that's just because death mechanics
Yeah,
are
but-
so easy. I don't put attention to it. Otherwise, I would.
I would die a lot less if things were a lot more punishing. So
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like at some point you just stop paying attention to what you're doing, and it's automatic.
especially if there's no punishment for dying.
Yeah.
I think the ones that will be hurt the most are the beginners or like the noobs that try to get into PvMing.
Yeah, that's true. But I
Yeah,
think
good
it should be
point.
like that,
Well,
like learning.
You can only learn the hard way.
Yeah, true.
So,
Totally.
That's a huge thing. If death mechanics are too expensive, then it makes that gap bigger, the barrier to entry.
Definitely.
If I learned some PvM without having to lose any money, now somebody has to learn, they have to pay like a few mil in deaths to learn it. But that's probably good for the game though.
You would
Yeah,
just
it's like learning PvP. You die a lot while learning.
you would just have to
That's a great example.
use the right fee for death. Because if you're a noob and you're learning to PvM, you're not gonna risk 1 bill on your gear. You're gonna risk way less. So if you pay less, depending on your gear, would still be okay for noobs, I think.
So rude
There's-
calling them noobs.
There's ornament kits for every item. Does that mean we protect them on death every time? Like, you don't have to pay value based on those because they have orn kits on them. It's just, I don't know. I got PM that, by the way. That wasn't me.
The ornament kits.
Yeah, so if you have an item that's one ornament kit, like...
Yeah, but if they take the current proposal, it means that untradables are also in your grave. So you don't actually keep them. So the ornament kits would drop in price.
So it's
'cause-
merely cosmetic for them, rather than...
Yeah.
Which I guess is fine. But...
I think
Yeah.
they should like add to Sora. If you die, you should pay now.
I think it should be okay. So we have certain death mechanics for certain bosses, but everywhere else, I kind of like the idea, similar to what Fluga said in the chat, where it's a minimum, right? So minimum 50k, minimum 100k, whatever the minimum is. You always have to pay that if you die, right?
Yeah, I think
Then-
that's a good idea.
After that, it's based on your wealth up to a certain cap. So like up to 1 mil, whatever. So you're paying, you can still use the best gear if you want, and it doesn't matter. It's like you want to take the best gear. You don't have to pay extra because you took the best gear. But if you die and you're like, let's say you're like slaying and you just like you're AFKing, well, you just have to pay a little bit because you died.
Yeah, it's solid idea, but 1 mil is too much, I think.
You think
I
1
don't
mil for
think
a death is
so.
too much? That's
I
not
don't
really
think
that
so.
much.
If you can afford like gear that
Maybe
is so
like
expensive.
1% of your risked wealth. You risk 100 mil plus. Well, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You have 3 items. If you can't afford it, sell one of those items. Pay the 1 mil.
Yeah, I really like the idea of like if you die, you're like, oh fuck, now that was so stupid. Like I have to pay that. It's a punishment. I think it should be big enough to like really be annoying, not just like yeah whatever. I just died again. I
Is
don't
that
care.
something? Is that something you think should be implemented with or without a poll?
That's. I don't think it
Because-
will pass a poll anyway because
Without a poll.
it's not going. It
It's a
would
game
not pass.
integrity question, really.
Yeah, no, but it's not. I think it will never pass a poll because most people just want to be safe and don't pay. It's like, makes sense that people think like that. I don't know.
People don't like change in most cases.
It's not
so-
about the change. It's like they just lose more money if they. It's like just easier now. As it is, like yeah, I die. It doesn't matter at all. And if you get punished, people would just cry.
It's also gonna affect like new players trying to learn to PvM. For example, at DKs, if they die there, they're gonna have to pay money instead of just being able to pick it up again.
The thing is, like, you put so much more. I don't know. I remember back in the day, I put so much more effort in not dying or not risking to die. Like, if I was low HP now, I'm like, yeah, I'm risking it just for whatever. It doesn't matter. Of course, I lose kills per hour, but if I would have died, if I had the chance that I have to pay, like, it would definitely change my mind how I would like risk stuff and etc.
Yeah, but that's something that Turnii and I talked about recently. Actually, like risking it more.
Yeah.
You want to get more DPS. I like that that's a thing. You risk it to try to get.
Yeah, it's always
more
good
on it.
if you survive, I guess. But if you die because of that, you're like, oh shit, there goes my 1 mil or how much it will be.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone with max gear PvMing shouldn't be worrying about a mil when they die. Like,
That's true.
it's kind of no idea. We have so many things that are worth money, like PvMing. Like, Volcaf is like 3 to 4 mil an hour. Like, there's like no issue with dying for a minimal amount of money. It's just the fact that if people, it should be based on your gear value, so noobs don't get hit hard when they die, but they should also have a hard learning curve when they want a PvM, instead of getting a free ride every boss they do. Like PvP, you know.
I could even imagine that if they would change the death mechanic, that maybe solo PvM will be less used because of that, because less richer people don't want to solo because they die more often or whatever, so they have to pay more, so they go maybe duo or trio somewhere.
Do you think that plays a part in the reason PvP is not as active? Or do you think it's just a lack of progression and people like progression?
What? PvP?
Probably both.
Yeah, PvP. Because PvP, like Jack was saying, if you want to learn how to PvP, you're gonna die a lot probably, and you're gonna lose a lot probably while you're learning. But then you get better and you don't die.
Yeah, I think that's good way.
But with PvM,
People
you
don't
can
like
just
dying.
take whatever you want. Yeah. People don't like losing stuff.
With PvP, I would like the old bounty hunter system where you got statues back, because you would actually risk it to get a kill instead of right now where you risk fighting to make money.
Yeah,
You
but
could make money just doing 100k risk.
but you 76k there. Like you paid people 76k.
Yeah.
I'll risk 76k.
Yeah,
That was the biggest flaw.
Mm,
I have a different approach to this. Imagine creating a new account. You're fresh off Tutorial Island, you die to a goblin. You won't have 50k to pay for your item.
that's true. Yeah.
Maybe you can have 2 ways to retrieve your items. One is to run there and get them, and the other is to pay and just collect them from the paying station, I guess. What do you think about that?
It's interesting, like, but I think at some places, it could be worth that you run back. At some places, maybe it's not worth to run back, so you rather retrieve the items.
That's a fair point. I
The
guess
bank.
with the
Yeah,
low
so,
levels, the fresh accounts.
so you wouldn't have to get the kill count
how
for
does it work
Armadillo
for
if you
them?
die there. Wouldn't have to use a key.
So it's like a ghost system, like in other games. You become like a ghost, and you can basically get back quicker to places, and you wouldn't need to like kind of take damage
Oh,
on
no.
the way, use keys.
No, you don't get there. You just collect your items from someplace.
Oh, okay, I get you. So you go Lumbridge and basically get your items back. So you basically risk the time,
Yeah.
so you don't restart killing it with all your items on the floor. Yeah, that seems a good solution. I still want there to be a little bit of risk, like payment for items though.
I just see here, like, ABX said, I think there was a bee about running back to graves. If you get back within 2 minutes, it's free. If you don't get it to 2 minutes, you have to pay. But yeah, with the new teleports, it's like you get everywhere in 2 minutes.
I think two is too short.
Yeah.
Especially for new players. Like
Maybe just add a fee if your gear goes over a certain value.
Yeah,
that would protect the noobs.
Maybe over 100k or something, or whatever it is.
And that way people could experiment with like scrub gear for free, and then once they feel like they're comfortable, they could use like better gear and risk. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard to find the perfect solutions for everyone. Yeah, I have like Mandred mentioned that.
They suggested is a good idea though on the dev blog.
So I think the biggest issue with dev mechanics, right, is the fact that you could die and there's nothing risky about it, right?
Yeah.
I think a good part of it should also be all consumables should be lost. So like, for example, let's say you have like brews and restores in Arma, or let's say you decide to suicide a bunch of sharks at Cerberus or Venenatus or whatever. Well, that just disappears when you die instead.
I think that's
I like
good.
that idea.
Yeah,
In
definitely.
PvM, not PvP, because PvP obviously, let's say you're gonna fight, you kill somebody, a team gets on you.
Yeah.
You get the bruise. But PvM, like consumables should be all like lost. That way you can't suicide inventories for the metas.
It keeps prices stable and high. Still, you lose a fair bit of money.
The only thing I
like
think they could negatively, it would go negative against is obviously that method, and then like I guess Bando solos, I guess, would be probably less popular. Because right now Bando solo, it's like you don't really lose much time. You just have a second inventory.
Yeah.
But it should be like that because you died.
I like that idea. Also because
Yeah.
it would change some metas right now. KBD, for example.
Yeah, the free event KBD.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the consumables that they disappear. I like that idea, to be honest. I really thought about it. It's a really good point. Yeah, it would make suicide wherever it is useless at all. Like Corp, Serb, and whatever it is, wherever you used it. Literally everywhere you want to do, you could.
Yeah, it would hurt harder. It would hurt like Iron Man Corp as well, because I think Iron Man Corp, that don't do the BGS method would have to do it now, where you get it down to no stats. Now you wouldn't be able to suicide inventories. You basically have to have a BGS and a hammer. But like that should be how it is. You're an Iron Man, you know. Iron Man's gotten so much better and faster over the years. Like I think the old Iron Man meta was like really, really bad, and now good. People are like going to complain when it goes back to being bad.
By the way, did they confirm that they will make the Iron Man Corp Cave only, or will it be?
It's already in the game.
It's already in. Oh my god! Oh, in my opinion, it's really stupid. Okay, it's like against Iron Man mode, in my opinion. Like ability, like.
It's a really good update.
I don't think so. I think it
devalues
the Iron Man status.
No, dude, are you kidding me?
It's wrecking protection.
You must not know though. But like, okay, basically, if I have a main account with a Warhammer and a BGS, I can go spec down Corp for the guy. I don't need a BGS or Warhammer. I'm Iron Man. Now you have to get those. That's a good thing.
All right, yeah, that's a good thing. But
that should have been in 2 years ago.
It also kind of protects you from ragging, kind of.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna call names, but there's a hardcore Iron Man with an Arcane Spirit Shield, doesn't have Warhammer, doesn't have BGS.
Yeah, but that's been in there for years. Just because he got that doesn't. What if he had done 100 kills and didn't get that? Would people be complaining? Probably not. Cry about it. I think.
In my opinion, Iron Man should be like crackable everywhere.
The first hardcore Iron Man was like combat 40 that got Corp kill. You really trying to tell me he did it alone? Like.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think Iron Man necessarily deserve to be crashed everywhere.
No, it's like I know, but not like that. I explained it last time. Like just that someone can crash your world. Like, and if you're Iron Man, you just have to hop. It's like I think it's idea of the game mode too. Like
that's
you
not
have
the reason
to.
They added that. They added it to stop them from using mains to spec it down.
Yeah, but it is automatically another like you use it for that, then you can't get crashed literally.
Think of how.
Or ragged, whatever. Rag definitely I'm against it, but like the ability
that's what it is. Really, crashing an Iron Man is ragging.
It's not, in my opinion. It's been in the game forever, like crashing. I don't know.
I think if you do it just to take that one world, it's fine. But if you follow them, then that's definitely ragging. Because
that's
true.
Why would you follow them?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I
There's
guess.
players out there. There's people out there who exist. Their life revolves around hitting Iron Man's monsters once.
I know. That's stupid. I'm against that, of course.
Again, that's not the reason they added it, though. They did add it for the spec reason, which is a good reason.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's both reasons, to be honest. Not only that.
I think a lot of Iron Men are confusing taking one world with ragging. Because
I think you should pick your battles, though. You shouldn't be mad that they added that. It's a good update.
Weren't they talking about?
I like the update too. It's really good.
Weren't they talking about like bundles and stuff resetting after you leave the room?
Yeah, it's in the game as well.
Then wouldn't that also be the like? Can you also spec it down then?
No, it resets everything.
That's fine.
They also changed how tanking Iron Man works at God Wars. If anybody else is in the room, I believe you don't get the kill or something like that. If they
they've definitely made it harder for Iron Man. I mean, it's like they've just made it so you can't frag them easier, which is a good thing. But updates that don't affect mains, like this Corp Cave, does not affect mains at all. It's a good update. If it affected mains, then it's a bad update. But it didn't, so it's a decent update in my opinion. Don't update the game around Iron Man because it affects mains. But if you update the game that benefits both in a way and doesn't affect mains, then it's a good update.
What's your thoughts on the Iron Man death mechanics? Because I feel like they would have to be different than main. I feel like they have to make it just a flat timer of being logged in.
With Ultimate Iron Man.
Yeah, and then the items just disappear.
I don't know. Something like that. Or they appear for people. I don't know. Yeah, but Alex, what you're saying in the chat is, I mean, it does make it harder. Right now, I can go train my stats up to, like, my melee's up, get a spear, and now I'm ready for Corp. But now I have to train my stats up, get a Warhammer, get a BGS, then get a spear, then go to Corp, you know?
Yeah, I guess, that's
the process of
a good way.
A fresh account to doing Corp is a lot longer now.
I'm
Are you
talking.
expecting people to create level 50 Iron Man though to crash and rag still? Because that's all you need, level 50.
Wasn't it 90 combat?
Yeah, but then those people are easy to ban and easier to realize
Yeah.
that that's all they're doing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, if somebody kills a Iron Man's corp, or not right now, but I guess a while ago,
Yeah, it's a lot
somebody kills an
harder
Iron Man's
to
corp, it's like
track people.
anything else with that mechanics?
Not really. I think we said
we-
everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Pretty
said
much.
everything, yeah.
All right, let's go to the next topic. Clans and PvM Cup, or Clan Cup overall. Should the moderators or Jagex moderators involve the clans into activity more, like make events or more clan-based events, like they nearly forgot about a Clan Cup, for example, or 2 years now, 3 years even? And yeah, in my opinion, it's bad. What are your thoughts?
I feel like they are. Well, they did, but they've kind of put it in the back burners for a little bit. But they did make this Discord and had loads of people on there to discuss things, and I think it was quite beneficial. But not sure how much info they took out of it.
I think they need to interact more, but they're kind of trying, I guess. But
I feel like they're
Sweden also
improving at it.
confirmed the cup for the PvM Cup for 2016 will be sometime this year. So only 2 years late, not too bad.
Only?
I think it'd be nice, but it should never be priority.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer them working on Rage 1, Rage 2, Inferno than they do a Cup.
I can't blame them for delaying it. It makes sense.
I don't see like that is that big of a work from them to do it. Maybe I'm just not realizing how much work it actually is, but just like one JMod can bring ideas from multiple clans together, and then he can make a mode like a Clan Cup, and I don't think it's like that much dev time that goes away.
It's
My
hard to
opinion.
come up with ideas that makes it competitive. Like the last 2 cups.
They need good
Mostly
ideas,
RNG.
yeah.
What's
Yeah,
your guys'
definitely.
opinions? Because I think all of you are Obliv, right? What's your opinions on it being called a Clan Cup or it just being called a PvM Cup and you can pick teams? I'd prefer
I
teams myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
teams
that's-
Somebody
is
who's like
better.
friends with people in multiple clans. I'd love
Yeah.
to come up with
That's actually
few
a
of my
really good
friends.
idea. I'd
That would be a
prefer
good
that.
idea. Yeah.
I don't think it should like you could have like one team be
You'd have more people, yeah. Like
Yeah,
more
definitely.
teams.
team.
Well, that way they
team-
could add a decent prize pool to it and actually like
Yeah, it would
make
cater to
it-
more people. It'd be a bigger pool.
Yeah, I guess
like
that's
their
a good
when they
idea.
give 20k out to the winner, they could actually give prizes to the best team.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
And if
last
they actually
one-
have a competitive mode, then
I like it not being. I know that clans are a big part of the game, but I think events like this, hosted by Jagex, should be focused on team,
Teams.
not clan, so anybody can really join.
Yeah, I guess.
Get more people
Yes.
involved.
Make the team size smaller then, I guess. Like, how much
The
was
main
it?
people I see
15 last
asking for
time?
these kinds of things are like
it was 15
like
million.
Live and Slaystars and like clans, not really teams or small smaller groups.
That would be more competitive as well, I think. Like,
Yeah.
you have to compete against your friends as well, of course, last time as well, but yeah, that would
I
like
also
that
like
idea.
solo ones too, like solo PvM competitions.
Yeah, that could be an idea as well. I
Yeah,
was
we had
thinking
the
of a
skilling.
funny.
They've
We
done the
had this-
one with the Jad. The
We
flank.
had a skilling cup. We had a PvP cup. Now it's time for the PvM cup.
What was the Skilling Cup? The last Skilling
That-
Cup was like a couple years ago.
Skilling Cup was with the Jagex Cup, which is what the PvM Cup was. So
That was a
wasn't
while
any
ago.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That was
that-
about the same
2015,
time.
16, yeah.
It's been too long.
Way too long.
I'm talking about the separate server where you could skill for 24 hours.
Oh.
And in my
Wasn't it
opinion,
skill of the week.
they could implement a lot of competitive tourneys as well, like with the team as well, which I like. Like, instead of just focusing on Deadman, which is disaster every year, in my opinion. Like this time with the DDoS, it was just top notch. That how can like so many people be DDoS and not get rollback? That would be furious. Literally,
It brings new players.
I guess, but they just focus on Deadman and not on other competitive things they could easily do, in my opinion. Like I have idea like maybe give like a people the same amount, like the same stats, give them 100k or however big the amount is, and then the first to kill all the God Wars dungeons gets like a record, or they have to record it and everything. That could be a cool idea.
Yeah, I think
something like that.
To touch on that again, I guess with the smaller groups versus bigger groups, like nobody, like, you remember the last one, the one a couple of years ago? It was like 15 versus 15.
Yeah.
When's the last time you did any 15-man PvM that wasn't raids?
Yeah, never.
Like, that's not a normal thing people do.
No, but
they need to make
you can
those events
still enter the arena, right?
Realistic times.
Yeah, you can still enter it.
Sorry, Zulu, I was interrupting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can, yeah.
But I think you need the clan leaders to set it up like last time, right? Just some people had the rights to challenge other people, right? Or did they change that?
No, they gave access to leaders.
Yeah, so rip all the people that quitted from start and stuff.
I doubt we'll ever get anything like Deadman for PvM, because like I just don't see that happening. In terms of like events, like I can't see them hosting the PvM summer finals, you know, or something like that. I don't know. Like I don't see that happening. But I would like more events.
I also don't think.
What would your ideal cup be though? Like
multiple ones. There'd be some for endurance, some for speed, some for what was the other one I was gonna say? I had different ones. Solo.
Group Inferno or something.
Group Inferno was a great idea Turdy and I had. Be so sick.
Yeah. I think
would be cool.
Hard mode version of some or raids would be the coolest, like, in my opinion. Like I really want that. Didn't Kieran mention that I don't know if it's hardcore Inferno or hardcore raids he was working on. He said
just hard mode Inferno.
Alright. Yeah, could be.
If they make raids 2 more team based, then they could make a part of the competition around raids 2, but raids 1 is kind of just, I don't know, it's everyone can kind of.
Another thing. I had
Inferno. Oh, sorry.
No, you started.
Okay. Raids 2, like speed, right? For raids 2, endurance would be like you were saying, Group Inferno, where the waves don't end.
No, wasn't that the Olm that never ended?
But yeah, never ending Olm was the one we had. That's
a good idea. Never ending Olm.
How many phases can you last?
Yeah, that could be a cool idea. Yeah. But hard mode, there's, I don't know, like probably nobody, but hard mode Virago I was on the first teams to get it. It was such a grind, dude. We had like the team communication like the team skill individually had to be perfect. Like one person messed up like a DPS or a movement, and you nearly fucked up the whole kill. And it was like, in my opinion, it was like 10 times harder than the normal Virago mode. And it's so easy to do. Like you just take more damage, make more health, whatever. It's like not really hard to do it. Just increase the stats and stuff. Or the length of some stuff instead of, could be an idea.
It still depends how much time they want to invest, like, into the cup, you know? If you want, like, a never-ending Olm, a Group Inferno and whatnot, it's gonna take quite a while, like, to make that in the game.
They could make something super hype as demo mode was, like, if it was team-based, like John said, and they make it competitive, there'll be like hundreds of teams competing. It would be sick.
It would be, yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
I'm trying to find it because we suggested this a long time ago, July of last year, I think it was.
What?
Yeah.
On Twitter.
What did you?
We need to give you a prize pool though, because it's like it makes things a bit more hype then, and it kind of is fairer for PvMers.
Yeah. Alright, let's go to the bonus questions already. What do you think of a share system to prevent skimming? Like LSP, or there are other options? Like it already failed the poll. I don't know how much percent it was. I think it was close, if I remember correctly. But what are your opinions on that?
No thanks.
I like it as it is.
We don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
But loot share would be a toggleable option. If it would be toggleable, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, like our I don't know. It should be different than the last LSP we know, like from back from RS3, but like just an option you can just click on the friends chat and then it's on or not. I like that idea, to be honest. Not a lot of people can just trust people if they
You
met.
add loot share, you take things away from clanning, and clanning is a big aspect of the game. It should be.
I prefer a clan system.
I just don't want coin share.
Yeah, I don't like that as well. It just
The coin share
generates.
changes the economy a lot.
Yeah.
Not a fan of
Yeah.
that. Not really in favor. Yeah.
I think without loot share before, you never saw what drop it was, right? Or did you?
No, it's
I
that you
think-
receive or wait.
Like,
Share
I
coin
think
share.
you used to not see what drop the other person got.
I think it did. It depends.
You did.
I think it depended where you were at.
Oh, okay.
At like God Wars Dungeon or Corp, you had the loot broadcast.
Yeah. They just added the broadcast to everything in old school. It wasn't always like that.
I think that's pretty important, and that's why we don't need loot share really, because you have the broadcast now anyway.
Yeah, the fact that you know what people get, I think, makes it less needed. Fair point. If somebody scams somebody, you're in a clan, that person's getting kicked probably. Doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. And if you're going with somebody who's not in a clan, I mean, it's kind of like, I'm not going to say it's your fault, but you can't put the blame only on the person who scams you if you get scammed.
But if you don't have to use it, would you vote no for it?
I would never use it. I don't know though. I might. Depends on the current. I'm not with the current chat system that we have.
Yeah.
I would vote yes regardless.
Yeah, I think I would vote
I think
yes
I
as
voted
well.
yes when it was cold. So yeah.
Can't remember what I voted. It was ages ago.
Alright, let's go to the next question about the cape bans, Inferno capes. Do you think Jagex handles the Inferno cape bans, how they handle it, is it good? Or would you change something about it, like ban-wise, longer, or perm instantly, whatever?
I think it's horrible. Why ban the buyer for 14 days and then perm ban the seller? You can just keep on selling capes.
I think that's a great point, and that goes with gold selling too. I think it's really stupid. I think people should be banned, perm banned. Set an example. People won't buy capes then.
It doesn't make sense.
Because like it's the same thing with RWT. If they ban people who buy GP, here's their logic on it though, right? This is why they do it. Their logic is you buy GP because you want to play the game. So they'll punish you. You're not allowed to play the game for a little while, and you can come back and you've learned from your mistake. But then the person who's selling gold is going to keep selling gold, so you're keeping that person selling gold around. But the logic is like the person selling the gold is doing it because they're either trying to make a profit or they're quitting the game. So it doesn't matter if they get perm banned. You know, they shouldn't be around. They're quitting anyways, or they're only doing it to make money. Same thing with the Infernal capes. You buy the cape because you want to use the cape because you want to play the game more. You get a temp ban. But then that just says, oh, I can buy a cape. So the person selling capes like, oh, I'm going to keep selling capes because there's buyers.
Does anyone know any instances of people being banned permanently for selling a cape, though? I've never heard of it.
I don't think people that sell
Yeah.
capes have actual accounts they play on.
Exactly. So they should, to stop cape buying, they should ban them for longer or perm ban the buyers. Like that's like the only way. That way people wouldn't do it and risk it. Because
It's not about the buyer, or it's not about the seller. Yeah, it's about the buyer. If there wasn't any buyers, then the sellers wouldn't have anybody to sell to.
Of course, but there always will be if it's an item that is so valuable or thing. There will always be buyers, I'm pretty sure.
Not if you're gonna catch a perm for it.
Maybe not, yeah, that's true, but you have to get catched as well.
Or
What are
ban
you-
them like from Inferno.
I also I find it so iffy with the account sharing rule they have, because apparently I don't know, the way we were talking about it in a group chat a while ago.
Yeah, yesterday.
If somebody plays and account shares an account for a very long time, let's say you account share for a year, and then the person one of the two people gets a cape on it, they can keep account sharing if they want. But if somebody got a cape a year ago and they want to account share, they can't, even though they got the cape a year ago. They're not really. It's a weird precedent that you're allowed to account share in some cases and not others. and I
Yeah.
don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't really affect me, but I just find the inconsistency annoying.
Yeah, they don't really have strict rules on
Nah, not at
account
all.
sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Right now, they don't ban them straight away, so people can use the cape. I don't know how long it was until they did this last batch of bans, but it was a long time. It was like months.
It was like a month, yeah.
So,
1 or 2
I mean,
months.
I get that they don't have time to constantly track people, but
I would
just
like if you could
encourages people to do it.
name and shame the buyers.
yeah, I would like that as well, to be honest.
Not
They
just
would
get
never
the
do
ban
that.
and
That's
the
the
cape
problem.
removed.
I'm not
Jaggers
sure
have
because then
always
people
had
might
the
do it just
policy.
like people might do it for trolls. Like they might be like they're done with RS, they're gonna buy a cape with some stupid name. That name's gonna get like shown now, and then you get like racist name number 3.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna show that if it's a racist name.
I mean,
Well, I hope not.
they've retweeted gold buying
They've always-
sites, so
Mm.
If you get caught, you get on. If you right click on the player, it's like mistakes banned from Inferno,
oh, that'd
and
be
then you can't join.
Bought a
New
cape.
titles.
Titles
Should give
to
them
the
a
game.
cosmetic cape that's like just pink. And like,
for
They-
sick
they
cape
got
on
a
them
fire
that
cape
has
where it's half
negative
diamond.
stats. They can't unequip it.
yeah.
Yeah, name and shame as well. I can understand. It's like of art. It's like bullying. Like the community will bully the people. Of course, you can say, yeah, that's good, so it prevents people from buying it. But it can be so much more of a personal issue for people than mostly like think of it. That's why probably they're not doing it, I guess.
I think cape buyers aren't. I'm gonna say the term long term, but I like why? If you're buying a cape, it's because you want to obviously either get the requirements or something or show it off. But like, your shit, you go get your cape, dude.
Yeah, I
You
guess.
didn't really earn it. I hate that people that do that. All the people that really do that I guess I don't feel that way towards is like PKers, because like they're only doing it because they can PK with it, I guess. But like, I mean, dude, just get the cape. Come on.
I'm still
Your mentality, the way you play the game. If you don't care like about achieving things on your own, then people just go out and buy it. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
you can't even imagine how many people I heard that bought even just a normal fire kit because they can't do Jad, dude. Even that is a thing. It's incredible. People are just like
That's
shit
Viking
sometimes.
services.
Yeah, I know. But it's the same principle in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so hard to react to Jet's attack. It takes years to practice.
Yeah, let's go to the next question. What do you
PTFO wrote in the chat that if you ban an Infernal Cape buyers, why don't you do the same thing with Fire Capes?
That's true, yeah.
They said they're changing the rule on it, but they never really. I don't think they've enforced it at all. I remember when that was coming up, they said we're going to change the rule on that, and people will now not be allowed to buy fire capes. But they never really actually banned anybody for it. I don't think.
No.
Do you think it's a lack of like the team size? Do you think that's the issue? Because they're busy with so many other things.
Yeah, I do think so.
Could imagine.
Like
Yeah.
they don't have like, a cape guy, but they'd like that guy's job is to ban people who buy capes. Like they don't have that. That's not a thing.
There's just too many cases of it, and it's hard to keep up with it, I guess.
Still only. I thought there are more than thousands out there. Or then they brought the numbers when they banned the people recently, like 150, right? That was really like.
We don't really know how they actually track that sort of thing. That's the problem. Like, do they ban just buying capes, or do they ban people for like friends doing capes for other people? Like, there's just too many like variables in it. It's just hard to track them all.
That's definitely true. And people are smart. They probably can go around some. I don't know. All right, let's go to the next question. What do you think about the raid updates that are coming to the game? How does it affect your PvM experience?
As in the items, or as in
Everything, I guess. Metas, buffs, nerfs, etc.
raid specific, or
No, PvM total.
Oh, the rate. I thought you said raid.
I don't think
No,
there's
not
that
the
many
rate.
PvM.
The
The
rates
rate
are
of
coming in.
the rate of updates, yeah.
Okay.
There isn't really that many PvM updates. Like,
Yeah, I don't
it's
think so
just
either.
quality of life updates. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, everything that can affect PvM.
I've never really complained about the rate of updates, honestly, but that's just me.
I think it's a bit too fast. I should a bit slow down, but I can
A lot of the
understand.
updates. A
why
lot of the
they-
updates have been focused on PvM or Slayer. It's true.
Well, the rate of updates. So DPS has been in, like it comes in chunks, right? You don't think about it, but it comes in chunks. Blowpipe early 2015. That was huge. And Venom at the same time. That was huge for PvM. But it all happened right at once. So it's not really, you don't think of it like, oh, this gradually happened. No, it just, they threw it at us. Same with raids. Twisted Bow, Claws, Ancestral, Rigor, Augury. I'm missing some stuff probably. All these things that came in that made it, PvM different all at once. The fact that we get it all at once makes it harder to say it's power creep. Because it's just like power injection, I guess.
Yeah.
They just throw it at us. The rate of it, though, I think it's healthy for now. But if it continues at this rate, it'll be ridiculous in a couple of years.
We just get like RS3, where the team is bigger and bigger. They can make more updates per week or whatever, and it's just coming out so fast.
They've also replaced every single slot with new best in slot. Every single one. But they focus on a certain aspect of it. So like they updated all the boots at once with Cerberus. They updated all the capes at once in the past few months. They updated all the jewelry with Demonic Gorillas. So again, it all comes at once. So it's kind of hard to say if it's good or bad. But it definitely changes how you play. You don't use those items. But it's a good thing for now.
But I also feel like because they make it like Cerberus, for example, that you get all the best in slot boots from that specific boss, it's so much harder to implement a new item from boots.
I mean, we've got Guardian boots, but yeah, you're right, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like that with Glacors back in the day, though.
With what?
Glacors, RS3 for EOC.
No idea.
Okay, that's where you got the like.
They
the,
dropped the new boots.
yeah, the boots, like the, yeah.
Personal question: what is the PvM content you enjoy the most, and why?
Callisto. Oh, it was Callisto.
Actually, Callisto? What?
That's
10
where I had
old
the
Callisto.
it was where I had the most fun with like friends. Anti-PKing, trio,
Yeah.
Callisto and stuff.
Unicorn Squad.
I think
Yeah,
we did
yeah,
it together, Hom3r.
Yeah,
Yeah, Callisto was fun.
yeah. It was like the best time I had with most Oblivion people that I PvM with at Callisto.
90% of my Callisto was exported though, but the duos and trios I did was fun. I don't know, really, raids is probably my favorite, but
Yeah, I have to
Yep.
say raids as well.
Raids here too.
I think the challenge of Inferno is fun, like trying to get better with certain things, but also raids. Like the scaled raids are the most fun. Again, like I said, most fun I ever had in old school.
You're talking about the 100-man scaled? Or...
Yeah, those were so fun. But just raids in
Yeah.
general was really fun.
It just brings like
and then raises group, I guess.
nothing like the feeling of doing Inferno. It was just like a completely separate entity of PvM for me. Actually finally completing it was like the best feeling ever, but in terms of consistent PvMing, it would be raids.
what the fuck is this question? Can you ask all the guys to pronounce sword? I don't know.
Sword?
Yeah.
Sword?
Are we actually doing this?
I'm gonna hear Turnii say sword. He's gonna say sword in a second. Here it comes. Come on, Turnii.
No.
Wait,
Yeah.
you asking me? This is a PvM podcast, not a.
Pronouncing
Sword is PvM.
podcast.
No.
Turnii, can you pronounce Kid Leader?
I'm about to go off. Seriously.
Next.
Next, I saw that at the Zulu stream he was talking about. It was the group mode. Like, how would you design it? What are your ideas about it? I really like it, to be honest,
Iron Man?
myself. No, not
Wait.
Iron Man, just group
Alright.
mode. Like, I don't know how. But Zulu was talking about it last time. Maybe he has more insight how he thinks it should be.
Okay, so the group mode idea, you think like there's open world, which is a main account. There's solo mode, which is Iron Man, and then there's group mode, which is you do everything as not do everything as a group, but you everything you've done works towards your group getting better. Think about the Godsword set from scratch back in the day, right? The Rune Shark series, probably the second most popular series I'd say after Bodhi's One-Man Army for RuneScape.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Like that was such a huge positive for the game. It inspired a lot of the from scratch series that exist today. And I think as an official mode, it'd be sick. A lot of people say it's a streamer mode, but I've heard so many people say they've got their group ready to go. They'd love to do it. And I think it'd be really sick to see. Let's say like you got that one guy in your group who just really likes doing Zora. Well, now that guy can benefit from getting more than one repeat item. Let's say you're doing Barrows, right? You get like let's say you're doing the Barrows set, you get like 3 sets of Guthans before you finish off Darok. Well, now that third set of Guthans isn't going to waste. That goes to the rest of your group. And it doesn't just cap PvM. I think once you get to a certain point, it starts to become just like Iron Man. You play your own way, but as a group, you guys, can get things done together. And I don't know, I like the mode a lot.
So
A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
It does sound very appealing.
Yeah.
I never made an Iron Man, and I don't plan to. But if the group Iron Man is gonna be a thing, I would definitely play it.
I can't wait to play Iron Man with an alt. That's gonna be so much.
That'll inspire people to do that as well. But the thing is, it won't be on the Iron Man high scores. It'll be on either its own high scores or the official high scores, right? You won't be on the Iron Man high scores for that, because obviously that could just be a boosted Iron Man thing. I don't want that at all. I don't want it to be related to Iron Man at all. I just want it to be the fact that you can't use the GE or trade people that aren't part of your group.
But how big would you want the size to be?
I think max 5, but I'm more of a fan of 3 or 4.
Yeah, 4.
I
I think 4 is good. 3 to 4, I think it's good. Yeah.
I think, well, the fact that Raids 2 is coming as well, I think 5 at a cap, but 4 is probably a better number.
I know what happens if one of your friends burns out and then you're down a teammate, or you're allowed to sub people in or out.
I mean, here's my thoughts. You know how there's the account sharing rules they have? I know this may get controversial. I don't think account sharing should be allowed when somebody's actively on an account, but I think if somebody in your group quits, somebody else can play on that account if they wanted to, right? Or you could just keep progressing it with a smaller group, right? That's your choice of choosing the group.
Mm.
Let's say somebody decides they want to quit the group. Could you let somebody else play on that? Maybe.
Yeah, that's the question, I guess. Yeah.
Just not while they're active on it, because account sharing obviously would make
Yeah,
the group.
you should be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I
I don't know though, hard to say, but
Yeah, it's definitely, you have to put a lot of thought.
I feel
How
like
do
it's
you
one of
want?
those things like, hey, what if you quit? Like, well, I mean, you quit. Let's just like it's on a smaller scale. It's like raiding, right? Think about people who raid together. One person decides they're bored of raiding. Well, now what's everybody else going to do? Do they just find somebody else, or do they just stop raiding, or what?
Yeah, that's a question, I guess. Yeah, it's hard to.
I don't really know.
It's hard to find a solution.
I feel like that's not on the mode itself.
Did they make a
quitting-
statement? Did they make a statement yet on how hard it's gonna be to implement the group Iron Man?
I had a message from Archie a while ago, which actually goes to clan system as well. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Pretty sure I can say this stuff. He said, group mode is something where we've had time to get into or design or work on. It's definitely on a list of things to look at, but at the moment it's technically an if rather than a when. That being said, he's happy to hear the ideas I have, and a lot of it ties into clan system as well. The same stuff that's required for group mode is also required to make a clan system.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if they will put time into that, but it'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Next, now the community questions. First one. What is one thing you see other people do while PvMing which drives you nuts, bothers you? From Anonymous, or it's Anonymous.
Seen people use twisted bow on accurate.
Blaming RNG.
I love you.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially in Inferno now, but people just love blaming RNG when you see them make mistakes that they could be better. They're still gonna blame RNG.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
I have another one. If people get uncut, like at God Wars Dungeon.
Oh my god, uncut.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we could go on for a couple hours with this question.
Yeah, I guess. I think that thing that bothers me the most is not having B gloves. Like, if I see a combat bracelet, I'm like, just like, dude, seriously?
So obviously a lot of this goes to when you're watching people PvM, because a lot of the time you don't know how somebody plays. If you're just PvM with them, you don't know what they're doing really. But when I'm watching somebody, I'll do their inventory. Like, have you seen a friend's inventory when he PvMs?
Oh my god.
He has
Yeah.
like his mystic top in the top left, his mystic bottom in the center of his
inventory
inventory,
management.
his
Yeah.
anti-poison up in the top right. It's a mess. And people that don't have good inventories, I get OCD over it, man.
Yep.
Hate it.
Sometimes it's...
I spend a good hour sometimes trying to correct the best inventory for certain things. Yeah.
Alright, let's go to the next community question. How do you get good at being a PvMer? From Apathy.
I think,
Practice.
is that an actual question or more like a troll question? I don't know.
I don't know, I just...
Because
put it
lots
in.
of
Maybe
people are
have-
like,
maybe
how
have
do you
a-
get at PvM? You just click the monster and you PvM. You know?
Left click it.
So I don't know if that was a troll question or not, but if it's
Just
not,
go in and die a lot. Like
Keep
I
you
can
know,
see how that could be
practice,
perceived as that, like, how could you be good at this when it's like so easy? I think he really actually meant it though. I'd say a lot of
Practice,
it
I
comes
would
down
say.
to practice, involve yourself in the like. I'd say with any game, right? If you're the kind of player who wants to be better and not just a casual, you watch videos, you watch streams,
Yeah, exactly.
you get involved in the Twitter community or
Yeah.
the
Inform yourself is so important.
yeah, exactly. Get in, share information, right? The sharing of information is what makes people better.
Exactly.
So apart from just practice, it's obvious practice, but apart from that, put a little more effort in.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Take risks. So what if you die? At least you tried.
clans are definitely help for that and finding friends to be with. It's hard to improve on your own. Yeah.
I think Bandos is a good example. If you solo Bandos, you can maybe start by walking under, progress to flicking the mage, and then flicking all of them at the end.
Yeah, that's a lot of learning is progression. You learn one thing, then you add on to it.
Just have to master one thing, and then try the next.
It's hard to get better as a PvMer and a lot of bosses in this game where a lot of it is just like left click and wait till it dies.
Well, then
Whereas if you
is that PvM or is that just a high level boss?
Mm.
Like, is Mole PvM?
technically
opinion it is,
you
yeah.
don't really improve doing it.
Technically, Mole is PvM, right? And there's a high level method for it, but it doesn't require the skill gap on it is not that high.
Oh, that's true. I learned flicking at Mole though. One tick flick.
Yeah.
But if you fucked up, you just get one hit by Mole with 1 HP Darox back in the days when T-Bow was not out. I like that to challenge myself a bit more. Alright, next question. Also a community one. It's a pretty big one. How would you feel about the addition of static achievement like titles or whatever instead of just pets or thing? And what do you think? Like, should it be like only one title, multiple ones, or do you don't like titles or static achievement based
like
rewards?
Not a fan.
I don't like them. Or 3 content.
Maybe, like, obviously, like, titles is in, like, you go to the observatory and you click on the little board and it says you're a legendary clue scroller. That's okay. But, like, you talk in game and it says, like, next to your name, like Zulu,
Yeah.
the Armadillion. Okay, no, not a fan of that.
Yeah.
No
I don't like titles, but I do like the idea of having something like an achievement diary for PvMing. So, you know, completed a solo raid in this time and stuff like that, and you kind of tick things off like a list, kind of like completionist, but for PvMing. It kind of gives another aspect to PvM, and it also keeps people motivated after they've got a pet or whatever, and they don't want to do the content. Then they have this to turn to and maybe still do the content they want to do. But
Can we also
it's
try
quite
boss high
controversial.
question?
Oh yeah, that would be nice too. Of
Sorry,
course.
can you repeat?
Can we
Boss
tie
high
boss high
scores.
scores into the question?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was one of the last ones, but yeah. Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, it's a bit risky somehow. I don't know, like people will like lose it, for example. They're just gonna get like targeted more and more the higher boss kills you have, and but that's literally only one of the negative points I see.
But
Well-
Jagex said if you have
I mean, you
two
could say
step,
that
you
about
save.
the high scores as well. I mean, the
The-
current high scores.
I would love boss high scores. I would like constantly do Armadillo like non-stop.
You could get a list of names anywhere. You could get the Oblivion clan member list. You could get the a boss high score doesn't change people knowing that somebody PvMs a lot. I think.
Yeah, you can already get it.
You can already find names of people that if you're a hacker or whatever, right? You can already find targets.
That's true.
It's not really gonna.
You can
That
You
that
can't
should,
just
shouldn't be a
release-
reason to not add it.
you can just release the boss high scores without the names, just like Mod Lottie does in the tweets.
Something like that.
The data is there.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to share it, they can. That's a good idea. So just like high scores for it, but no names. So it says like Bandos is 23,000 or something. And then if somebody wants to tweet that out, they can tweet, look, rank 1 Bandos. And be like, oh shit, that's
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah, it would drive people to just camp one boss over and over again, or multiple people to be the rank 1 or top 5. That is could be a cool thing, yeah.
Healthy competition.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
healthy, depends. How much you
think,
play.
I think without Lottie's tweets, we might have already had boss high scores, if I'm honest.
You
'Cause
think
people
so?
wanted that. I think people were asking for that kind of stuff for a very long time.
Yeah.
So without Lottie, like like pleasing or piquing our interests, we would have kept demanding it over and over and over and over. So it's weird to say, but the fact that we were given that info might have actually prevented it coming in, because we're pleased for now, so we don't keep asking for it.
True.
Definitely, yeah. Other opinions about it? I'll go on otherwise. We talked about the teleport thing, like if it should be moved further away already, right?
Yeah, the house pool meta.
Yep.
Yeah. So that question is out of the way. Oh yeah, blowpipe nerf. You thought. The thoughts on Nex being introduced into old school RS or other RS3 content you would love to have converted from RS3 to here.
You see Nex?
Yeah.
I
Same.
love it.
It had good mechanics.
Definitely.
It had good mechanics, but would you want like an exact copy of Nex into
I wouldn't
OSRS?
mind.
I
That's
think it
not
would
really-
not be possible to do it. Or
I think it'd be very possible, especially with the shit we got in the game now.
nah, probably yeah. Tebow would be probably meta at Nex if it's similar to the pre-EOC one, yeah.
Oh yeah, what the chat said, Enrage. I would love that. It's some kind of boss with Enrage. Not current bosses that exist, but future bosses with Enrage would be really cool.
Well, Rage 2
You know,
would be a good
yeah.
opportunity to have Enrage.
Yeah. How would that work though? Because you'd obviously have different teams at different times. One guy might raid with a bunch of different people, other 4 people only raid with that group.
You could find ways to make enraged versions of current bosses.
Would
Like,
it change it too much though?
Like Pants suggested enrage Olm. Think you could make it so he can use like right now he can only use one special. You can either use acid, the falling rocks, or the flame wall. But in hard mode, he could use more than one.
I'll
Like
be
you
able
could
to
have
hit more people.
you could have the falling rocks and get trapped in the flame wall.
Oh, at the same time? I get you.
Yeah.
In Rage, Callisto knocks you back to Lumbridge.
I don't think Enrage works well in old school unless it's solo bosses for now.
Yeah.
They have to design a boss specifically around the Enrage mechanic. Because right now, solo bosses, you could do that. Like you can make, Vorkath enraged, and that would work. But it doesn't work right now with current bosses. You have to completely change them. And I don't like that. But I would like to see it in future bosses.
Alright, I think we're at the last question found that we haven't gotten through. Let me find it again, sec. Oh, if there was one item you would have to in the game without a pull, what would it be?
Divine.
Divine. Definitely.
Karazi. No, I don't like
PvP armors is a close one, actually.
Yeah, PvP
Yeah.
armor.
Yeah, I would love PvP armors.
Is nobody gonna say Karasi?
I said it already.
No, Archie isn't in here.
Well, I don't think it's a serious nerf one,
Range
maybe.
braces with +2 range strength. That's a joke. I don't really know because I didn't really play OS3, so in terms of items I would want from that game, I wouldn't know. But Divine would be cool.
I don't even think Divine will be better at any places.
I mean, it
so
wouldn't
far.
be useful, but
Yeah, even
I still want it.
yeah, back in the days, a lot of people used Divine, but didn't know that Ellie was better. For example, at Armor, it was a big difference. Ellie is so much better there.
It may be better at raids too. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. That's true. Any other questions you have in the chat? Just post them real quick. have any in
I had
mind,
someone
or we
DM
have-
me actually.
Yeah.
It's like a potion instead of a lot of potions failed, and he said it's a decent idea, and I kind of liked it. It's like if you drink a ranging potion or a super combat, and after that you drink that potion, it would freeze your stats for 5 minutes, for example. So you'd stay at 113 range for 5 minutes, then that potion wears off, and then your stats
That's an
start
interesting
going down.
idea.
I think it was Juchi that suggested that.
A
One of
Yeah,
Freeze
it's
potion?
Gucci who suggested. I thought it was really interesting. I kind of liked it.
I think it'd have to be less than 4 doses max. I think it'd have to be like a 2-dose potion, or something. So or like a one-off item. So you use that item and that takes up inventory space. So you could argue that it saves you a minute or more, versus drinking a range pot every minute. You save an extra minute by drinking that one time at the cost of that space.
I think it should have an ingredient that is untradeable. So you can't just buy 1k of the potion.
Yeah.
It's a nice idea. It doesn't make it OP. It actually sacrifices inventory space.
I see a question in the chat. Rebalance loot for grotesques. Didn't they do that already?
I think what they need to do is make it faster to kill.
Yep.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
so
made it
slow.
faster, you'd get more kills an hour, meaning you'd get more loot. So it'd already be a GP an hour buff.
Also nerf normal gargoyles.
I think the mechanics of grotesques are
Did
actually
we talk
okay.
about drop tables at all?
No.
Drop tables? Did we talk about drop tables at all?
No.
I don't think so.
That's probably one that like we should probably talk about, like what drop tables are broken, not broken, what should be changed.
If there was something I would change about the gargoyle boss, it would I would make the phases where you don't attack the bosses shorter.
I agree completely.
Or just remove them completely.
Or that.
I mean,
Yeah.
they go up and then they attack you again. Like, what's the point? They could just switch who attacks you.
Yeah.
another
That
question.
would, that would be a buff to kills an hour and a buff to GP
GP
an hour.
an hour.
And
I'll
that'd be exactly what it
remove
needs.
Remove the orbs from Dawn.
Maybe make
That's
it slightly
still
less.
tilting, dude.
Yeah, the orbs.
Yeah,
Make it
exactly.
slightly
Maybe
less,
make it 2 orbs instead of 3.
Slightly less XP as well. That way, it's the same XP an hour. It's not a buffed XP.
Could just remove one of the transition phases, probably. Make it like 1.5 minute long.
I think. What do you guys think? Do you think Zora would still be the same GP an hour if it only dropped skills and then the items? I think it would eventually. I think pipe would go to like 50 mil. So every so often you'd get that 50 mil, but you wouldn't get really much from it. But the
It'd
skills
be
would be
so much
expensive
more
too.
fun to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Blowpipe would be fucking expensive.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
blowpipe should be expensive, but the fact that the thing that kills it,
Yeah.
the thing you get it from drops like 100 and something K a kill is like, that's what makes it so cheap.
That was kind of the beginning of all the downfalls of all the drop tables.
I mean, even like 10K a drop instead of 100K, or like 20K a drop instead of 100K, or whatever it is, would make it better. Mine's
Took
like
too
for
long
Iron
to
Man.
nerf
Maybe
it.
they can make the Iron Man scale fishing better. That way you can get more scales if you don't want to kill Zora. I don't know. God War scale is best? Yeah, dude. That's why I think that Zora should be like that.
What are your thoughts about like best in slot gear being blocked behind being high GP versus rarity or quest recs? For example, B gloves. Do you think B gloves should be the best glove forever, or should it maybe be? Or in my opinion, should be like some items should be quest related, so you don't forget stuff.
Why not both? Like,
But
Need
implement
to-
both, yeah, as well.
You should
don't
always need B gloves to create another glove, in my opinion. But
They shouldn't be
That-
best in
that
slot
way you
forever,
keep
but
the-
they should be required for the new best in slot.
I agree. I was about to say that. You should have to add B gloves to it.
it's
Yeah.
like Prims, for example.
Yeah.
You just upgrade it.
Or like the office. Yeah, or like you have to have quest done to get the new thing. Just like you have to quest to get the Avas.
Definitely.
So maybe I don't know. Actually, yeah, maybe it requires a quest to do, and that quest requires RFD to do
Or you need the quest completed before you can actually buy it.
to
From
equip.
GD.
Yeah,
just lock better gloves behind a quest is definitely a good idea.
Yeah, and then
I prefer to have gloves for specific styles rather than B gloves all the time. That's for sure.
yeah, exactly. I would like new gloves by now. Move B gloves.
Any other questions you have? Because otherwise, I think we can end now.
Nah, I think. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Someone asked like who was it in the chat? Hold on. What do you guys think keeps most people from attempting Inferno? I think it's pretty interesting.
I think
It's not a
I
bad
think
question.
excuses.
Yeah, excuses.
I mean, why do they make excuses?
Because it's
There's the Tebow argument, right? They don't own a Tebow. I would argue Tebow makes it a
nah,
lot
that's
easier.
BS.
But with the existence of dragon bolts now from Vorkath, I think the gap is a lot smaller on how much you need Tebow.
I think it's just dying at high waves and then just
be
Frustration.
frustration. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I guess the time it requires to do it. I'd say anybody, if they have, the stats for it, can do an Inferno in less than 100 attempts.
I mean, it's about me credit.
Yeah, anybody can definitely do it, but it depends on your own personal motivation to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely a point.
If you're fine with dying hundreds of times over, then you'll get it. But some people just aren't and don't want to waste the time.
Yeah, the
Just don't
efficiency
blame
mindset
RNG.
would be a big one too. Like the efficiency mindset.
Yeah.
If I spend 100 hours doing this, well, I get a cape out of it, but I just lost 100 hours of my life.
If you die, just please don't say it was a bad wave, because just shut up.
Yeah, you're just bad.
Can't wait for thanks PM in Discord.
I
Yo,
will
I just
never
died
do
to a
that.
bad wave, dude. What do I do?
I will never do this.
I just keep on. I guess it's the.
We'll see a lot more here, I think.
How good is 12 attempts for an Infernal Cape? Opinions?
12
Depends when
overall
you do it.
attempts.
12
Was it
is
recent?
good.
If it was recent, I'd say it's really good. 12 attempts is really good. But obviously you were handed all the mechanics.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a big.
Like that's your achievement. That's sick. That's awesome. 12 is really sick.
If you do it now, or like now, or like 1 month after it came out, it's a lot different.
Yeah. If you did it first, it's different than if you did it after the guides and the mechanics and all that's been worked out. Because obviously you could just look at that before you go in.
I think it's like, or what I could say from my personal experience, like watching guides and stuff just helped me, but I had to figure out my own method to do it. It like I just play differently than other people do, I guess. Like I don't know, mechanic-wise, sometimes it just feels different though that I would play. What I figured so far, doing Inferno. Just don't rely just on guides. They're
A
just
lot
a
of
way
people
to
are
help
you
them.
don't-
tanks
that is
on one or two
different, though.
attempts.
Like it's different learning something on release versus learning it after. It's like quests, right? Quests.
Yeah.
How many people here could do certain quests without a guide? Like who's gonna do MEP 2 without a guide? Right?
Not
It's
happening.
just like that. You get
Yeah.
handed the info, but you applying the info is also that's where the skill comes in, is applying it. The mechanical skill and picking up on that is the important part. So it's good, I think. It's different though. The learning, like the figuring mechanics out versus the applying the mechanics.
Yeah, I agree on that. All right, I think if nobody has any questions, we're slowly gonna end it. Does anyone have any?
Yeah, we should take maybe a couple more from the chat. If anybody's got any final
I'm
questions.
watching the chat all the time. I don't see questions now.
Maybe about the future of the podcast. Are we gonna do more?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. That was my ending thing as well. So I'm gonna try and do more, or I will. I'll try to promise you as much as I can. How often they will come out, it will depend, because there's also I don't want just to make a podcast just because I want to make one. I really want to have good questions that they maybe didn't answer. And yeah, I'll switch out maybe some guests. I maybe stay some. Some people sometimes don't really want to take part. Like last time, I asked a lot of people that didn't want to come.
I noticed I'm the only non-obliv in here. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
more multiple clans next time.
yeah. I was even thinking of maybe like next time taking experienced PvMer and maybe like one from the chat randomly to invite here.
I think
And-
somebody suggested a couple Ironmen as well. There are some
Yeah.
pretty sick Ironman PvMers out there.
Oh,
I had some Iron memes.
Yeah, some like the Ironman solo raiders
Yeah.
or potentially.
Yeah,
like that.
I'll try to switch it up, the topics and everything, to make it the most interesting it can be. Yeah. If you have any suggestions, just add me at Twitter. I'll maybe open my Twitter DMs. And yeah, it's definitely gonna be uploaded to YouTube, so you can rewatch it. Otherwise, you can rewatch it here. I don't even know if how I can make it that the video is saved here. Maybe someone has to explain that. And yeah, I'm gonna upload it to YouTube so you can rewatch it. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for everyone here that helped me. Help me to get this podcast started. Really glad. A shout out to Con1 for making the design for the picture here, even though I couldn't take the original one because we had some difficulties with Discord. And yeah, thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks for organizing and having us.
Peace.
Bye.
Easy clear.